Hey everyone, this is Kristen Fagan here, and I'm back with another Customer Appreciation Week presentation. And today, at this time, we're going to have Abbi Berta from the Bead Place, and she's going to be sharing this stunning Nepali Chevron lace necklace kit. And I think it's also one of those kits that you can make a possible bracelet too. Am I right with that, Abbi?
You can do whatever you want with it.
I love that you always do that. So I wanted to say it right from the beginning if it was true.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pop this banner off and let's say hello to Abbi. How's it going?
It's good. I'm really excited to be here. This is like one of my favorite events. This is probably my favorite event all year round. So I'm so grateful that you guys invited me again.
Yes, we're so happy you said yes.
Is this the third one?
I think it's the fourth, actually. And I think you've done all of them too. We were just saying how Kay has done all of them as well. So thank you. Thanks so much. We love you so much here at Softlex Company, and just love when we got to collaborate with you, which is pretty often, thankfully. I mean, we just like to hang out together. It's so much fun.
We're beadin' buds.
We are beadin' buds. Hey everyone, if you're just tuning in, say hello and make sure to give us a like or a heart on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're tuning in from. We are live on the Softlex Company Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I think we're also live on your YouTube. Is that right?
Yes. And I was just a minute to share the stream to my stores. The Bead Places Facebook page. So I just shared it over there. And if you guys at home watching wouldn't mind sharing too, we would appreciate it.
Oh yeah, share the love, please, wherever you bead, into your little beady groups if that's allowed, or onto your pages. We'd love for you to share. We're going to be making a pretty sweet design today. We've got some very special beads from Nepal that Abbi has for us that she put together in her kit, which I think there's still some left available.
There are. Yep. We found another secret stash of the Nepali Chevron beads. So we were able to make more. We were like super close to selling out. And then we found another stash that
you probably were saving for yourself. You were probably hoarding them a little bit.
I was saving them for today. I just didn't know it yet.
There you go. Your past self was taking care of your future self's needs. I love that.
I'm really good at that.
So if you guys don't know Abbi, she's over at the Bead Place, and you can find them at beadplace.net. You can also find them on YouTube. I believe your YouTube is called Abbi Berta. Is that right?
Yep.
It's you. Fabulous YouTube channel. So many tutorials. Abbi's been doing this a really long time, and she's fantastic at creating tutorials. So if you haven't checked them out over there, be sure to go and subscribe and like and see all of the beautiful skills and techniques that I know that I find myself looking at your videos when I'm like, I know that somebody's probably got a video for this and I want to go look at how it's done. And Abbi usually has it.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel so honored.
It's awesome. Well, it's fantastic. You've been, like I said, you have been doing this a really long time, and you've done so many wonderful techniques. You're really thoughtful with the things you put together. And I always love your style and the kits that you create. They're always one of my favorites.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. I feel like my stuff is like right on the borderline of being weird. Like really, really weird, but I try to keep it from like
just pull it back just a little.
Yeah.
Right to the edge.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And that's why I dig it, because it's right. It's always a little like, I'm always a little delightfully surprised by what you put together. And I'm always like, oh, I just love the colors you choose or the beads you choose or how you put that technique together. You just always have a very out of the box way of thinking. And then they're also like not super complex. Like a lot of times your designs, I feel like, look more complex than they really are to create. And that's just such a fun thing to have something that looks like what's happening there. But then when you actually sit down to do it, it's not super complex technique.
You kind of like cracked the code on my designs. I try to make it look like I've done way more work than I actually have. So good eye there, because that is exactly what I do.
It's amazing because that's what we all want, right? We all want things that look like, oh, what is happening? Like, how did you do that? But then at the same time, we don't want it to take us all week long to figure it out and work on it. We want it to kind of come together quickly and cool. Yes, Stacy says embrace the weird. Totally. So true. Sherry says Abbi is a talented, sweetheart. She is.
Thank you.
Such a sweetheart. Cassandra's here and she says, love your project. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, beading buddy.
Rings. Oh my goodness. I haven't had a chance to watch the full presentation from yesterday from Beads to Live By, our friend Cassandra, but I saw some cute little earrings. So I was like, ooh.
Yes, there's some really fun things. It was a beautiful project too. And I think Cassandra might still have some kits of her own left. So if you go to softflexcompany.com and you click on that customer appreciation link, which is on the top of our homepage, or if you're looking at it on a mobile, you'll have those 3 little dots and it'll be in the drop down. That will take you to all the details for this week. We're doing 3 videos a day. The calendar is there. All the presentations are there in terms of who's going to be presenting. And then links to everybody's kit is all on that page. So if you're ever trying to find something from this week and you don't know where it is, you're likely to find it on that page. And then all of the replays from everything we're presenting are available on the Softflex Company Facebook page and YouTube channel. So you can watch us live, which is awesome. We love when you're here live. And you can also watch us on replay. And if you want to hang out with us now and do the project later, that's cool too. And if you want to grab your kit that you purchased from Abbi and bead along, that's awesome as well. I kind of like when you get the chance to bead along, because I know for me, my days are busy and I have this time to create with you. So if you got your kit, go pull it out, because now's your chance to kind of get it done, right?
Yeah, it's definitely that dedicated, designated time to have fun and be creative. And a lot of times I think we get busy and we don't prioritize that, but it should be a priority. So I like that idea where you just like do it, get it done. Now's the time.
Yeah. So if you've got your kit, now's the time. If you don't have your kit, go grab your kit and then you can hang out with us on replay and make that your time, right?
Yep.
So we are going to do a giveaway here today, just like we're doing on all of our guests' videos. I'm going to pop up that giveaway right at the bottom of the screen. You're going to use the hashtag Nepal, actually. I was going to say Nepali, but I ended up doing Nepal. That will get you your entries. You must be here at the end to win. And we're giving away a really pretty gratitude pendant. Sarah used it in her necklace. And you'll see it's right at the bottom there, the one with the bird and the ocean. And then I believe on the back, it says something with a grateful heart on it. And that's what we're giving away to everyone this week during the guest presentation. So you'll be entering to win one of those. You must be here at the end to win. So stick around. And one last thing before we turn it over to Abbi is we have an awesome swag bag. Abbi did contribute a wonderful deal to this swag bag. This is our 2024 Customer Appreciation Week swag bag. You can buy it online at softflexcompany.com, or you can get it for free with your order of $99 or more. Use that code CAWSWAG, CAWSWAG, to get it populated into your cart once your subtotal is over $99 or more. You must enter the code for it to be added, and it's not valid with any other order discounts. If you have order discounts, you can either choose to just not log in and order as a guest, and you'll get that free swag bag, or you can log in and get your normal wholesale discounts on that order. It's not going to be both. And that will end on September 24th, or while supplies last. I put together the art notebook from one of my California poppies paintings, and I also added some free jewelry into the swag bag, as well as there's some product for some of the presenters, and there's lots of deals included as well. So you can check that out at softflexcompany.com. And then Abby, let's take it away to you.
Okay. So, hi guys. We are going to be making a necklace. Necklace first, bracelet second, maybe, but you know, it could be a headband, whatever you want. But the idea is that I wanted to show off how beautifully flexible soft flex beading wire is. So look at this cool kind of lace design that we're seeing here. I like kind of the juxtaposition. That's, everybody knows that's my favorite word. I like the juxtaposition of like really interesting color with kind of lines. So I love when I can feature just like line work. I don't know if that makes sense, but just like interesting lines in my jewelry. So my favorite way to do that is to have waves. And so that's what I decided to do with this one. I'm going to put it on a different background so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Let me slide my bead mat over. So the construction of this is super, super simple, but I wanted to kind of keep this wave going while also kind of highlighting and featuring these beautiful Nepali Chevron beads. So in order to do that, you know, I have to figure out how to not break up that wave. So we have this little arc of seed beads here, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So we have kits available at beadplace.net, which I think we've got linked in the description. So we, as Kristen said earlier, we still do have kits available. And in that kit, you are going to have some findings. You're going to have your bead pack. And then you're going to have a bunch of fine soft flex wire. So this project is actually a 2-strand project, believe it or not. So we are utilizing 2 strands through the beads here in order, or through the tubes, I should say, in order to kind of make sure that that wave isn't interrupted. So the first thing that we're going to do is open up our little mini coil of soft flex, and we're going to just dump everything out onto our mat. So you'll have a bunch of seed beads. You'll have a bunch of these beautiful, all different colors, all different sizes. Beautiful.
I'd love to just see those like in your hand a little closer up, because they're so pretty.
Aren't they sweet?
Oh my gosh. And the patterns are just stunning.
Aren't they just, and each one is unique. Now, you might have 2 that are kind of the same color, but they're handmade, so each one is going to be different. And that brings me to a point that I'm glad I didn't forget to tell you guys. The first thing that we're going to do before we actually start on our design is we're actually going to try and figure out what kind of order we want to put these beads in. So what I like to do is figure out where my smallest bead is, and I'm going to reserve that for my little adjustable little bead ending on my chain. So for me, that's this cute little red guy here. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure that my biggest bead is in the center. That'll kind of hold the necklace centered on your neck, we hope. And I'm just going to sort my beads out in an order that I like. So I'm making sure that I don't have 2 of the same color family right next to each other. If that's what you want to do, that's a-okay. But I think I like that. What do you guys think? Let me bring you down a little. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. Bring it
We're coming in close.
So what do we think?
Oh, that looks fun.
I think so too. So each of these, as I said, is going to be a little bit of a different size. But the number of seed beads that we're going to use to highlight it is going to stay the same. If you want to take the time to make adjustments to it, you can, but they're all kind of within that same size range. I'm going to bring you back up. So we don't need to change the number of seed beads at all. Okay, so I just opened up my little findings pack, and I have it up here off screen just so it's not in my way while I'm working. But in my findings pack, there is a lobster clasp. Got some chain. I have one crimp bead. You might have gotten your kit and thought, uh-oh, there's only one crimp. Well, that's intentional, my friend. We did that on purpose. So we're also going to have a head pin, and we're going to set that aside as well. And then we have a bunch of these cute little brass tubes. So we're going to start by picking up our soft flex and our chain. And we're going to string the last link of chain onto our soft flex like that. And we're going to hold the two ends of our soft flex kind of at the same spot. And we're going to bring the chain down to the center like that. So hopefully you're with me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two ends of my fine soft flex, and I'm going to put them both through our little size 8 seed bead like that. And I'm going to bring that down to meet my chain like that.
Very nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Cool. So now what we're going to do is take the two ends of our soft flex, and we're going to try and keep them even in length just so that it's easy to string through. But if they get a little uneven, no big deal. We just kind of want to try. All right. So this is what we've got so far. And I'll just hold this here for a second, just because I know this is an interesting way to start. And I just want to make sure everybody can see it.
I love it. I love it. And I'm sure at this point, when you've pulled that down, it's pretty secure feeling to have the wire in there now.
You know, I'm glad that you said that, because we still have to kind of keep intentional tension on this at this point. But the farther we go, the easier it'll get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate my wires now. So I've got one in one hand, I've got one in another hand. I'm going to pick up one seed bead, and then I'm going to pick up one of my Nepali Chevron beads, and then another seed bead. And I'm going to let that slide down towards my work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create this fun little section here around the outside of our beads. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads that create the kind of parentheses around the bead. So we have 9 seed beads in total in this section, but we've got 7 that are going to be by themselves on the other wire. So we're going to take our wire that does not have the chevron on it. So we're taking this one, and we're going to string 7 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. You guys are going to hear me count a lot, so I'm sorry, but that's what's happened.
It's good to count so you don't forget any of them, because that's what happens to me a lot.
Yep. So if you see, now that I've kind of put my fingers here, it creates this kind of wave here. And so now what we're going to do is we are going to take a tube. We're going to join our wires back together as one. When two become one, like the Spice Girls song. We're going to put that through. Sorry, I have had caffeine today. I was telling Kristen, my caffeine has almost hit. Well, I guess it has finally hit. Because
that's when things get even weirder, huh?
Exactly. Okay, so this is what we've got. So you can tell that I'm kind of pulling this tight and it bumps this wave out. That is what we want. But we want to make sure that that wave is kind of creating the zigzags. So if you need to kind of push the seed beads to the other side while you're working, do that. You can always go back in and fix it after the fact, but it's so much easier to work with your wire straight as you go rather than having to fight it and untwist it after the fact. So you see how it kind of goes up and then comes back down. That's what we're aiming for, to kind of have that wave up, down, up, like that. Okay.
This is such a cool design. Oh my gosh. I love it so much.
It took a little bit of fiddling with to get this part figured out. I kept wanting to do like 2 wires through 1 seed bead to start it, and it just wouldn't give you that wave. It was like a little boop instead of a wave. So it's had a couple different iterations, but we're where it needs.
Thank you for figuring it all out for us.
Oh, you are so welcome. Okay, so we've split our wires again. We're going to do seed bead, chevron, seed bead, and let it go down. We're going to do 7 beads on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're going to slide that down again. And this is what I was talking about where I was like earlier, I was like, you change the number of seed beads because you can see some of these beads are slightly different, but I like just sticking with 7. It just seems to be exactly the right average. Oh, what am I doing? Not paying attention. Seems to be exactly the right average number of seed beads to make it work. Okay, so I've got my seed bead, chevron seed bead on one side. I've got my 7 seed beads on the other side. And then I'm going to put my wires back together. I'll try to get it focused.
Aw, Clem says your weirdness is really that you're totally charming. I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we're going to slide that tube back down. And you can see, like, as we work, if we're not intentionally pulling things tight, it's going to get loosey-goosey. This is kind of one of those designs where you have to manually go in and pull each wire to where you want it to go. So
It's a good question, Anne. She's asking, does it matter at this point which wire the seed beads are on?
it doesn't, but to kind of complicate that answer, it doesn't, but you still have to go in and make sure that you're pulling tight and that you are placing the little loops of seed beads on the right side. And it's just kind of one of those things where you have to put the things where you want them to go, and then they'll stay there if you're holding it tight. So it kind of, like, you could remember which is your right, which is your left, but it really kind of wouldn't matter because the only thing that really matters is that it's tight as you go along. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to separate again. We're going to pick up a seed bead. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Maybe it won't have as much trouble focusing if I bring you a little bit closer again. We're going to do seed bead, chevron, seed bead. And we're going to bring that down. And we're going to do 7 seed beads. It's always like this fine line to dance upon as to where to put the camera to give yourself enough room that you don't hook the wire around it and pull the whole setup down, but like close enough that people can still see it.
It is a fine balance. It's definitely a fine balance.
All right. So again, we've got our little parentheses. I don't know what else to call it. I guess I could call it like an arc, but in my brain, it's like half of a parentheses. So we're combining our wires back together, bringing it through the tube and tightening. Okay, so what I like to do, you see how I wasn't holding tension, and so I've got this little space here. What I like to do is after I put each tube on, I go in and I pull each tail end individually rather than pulling them both together. And then that'll cinch up any of these little spaces that may have formed along the way. But you can see how as we go, the beads kind of naturally follow that wave pattern. The first couple you really have to put into their place. Like you got to tell them. But as we go, they'll kind of want to fall in line a little bit more. So we're going to separate our wires again. We're going to do seed bead, Nepali Chevron, seed bead, and slide that down. And we're going to do 7 seed beads. And I'm going to bring these closer so you guys can see them. Now that we're in a little closer, I'll bring you down a little bit. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that little guy just jumped right on there. So I'm going to double check these. Okay. Yeah. Ah, earthquake. So sorry. All right. So we have again our seed bead, chevron seed bead, and then on the other one, the other wire, we have our 7 seed beads. So we're going to join our wires back together just by holding them as one. We're going to grab one of our tubes and we are going to string that tube on. And we are going to slide it down. And again, anytime we put that tube on, what we need to do is separate our wires. Maybe. There we go. We're going to pull the other one, and it's going to cinch everything into place. See how fun that is? So we're going to keep going. Guys, I don't know if you can hear the cackling happening at my store right now, but we've got a knitting group here and they are laughing so loud.
Oh my gosh, I can't hear them, and that's sad because I want to hear cackling.
They are so funny. In our previous location, we had like a separate classroom that they would rent out for their group, and it was like anytime you'd walk near that room, you'd just be like, what is going on in there? I am so happy that they are like on our main store floor now because it is just like a ruckus all the time.
Yeah, right. And that's fun. That's kind of how Sarah and I met in a way when we worked at a bead store together. We would have lunch at the same time because she worked front of the house. I worked back of the house. And we'd end up going to lunch at the same time. And people would come in and be like, what are you guys laughing at? Because we would just be hysterical laughing every single day. They're like, what's going on in here? And we literally had no idea what we were laughing at. We were like, we don't know. Whatever it is, we're just having fun. we just laugh a lot.
That's the sign of like a good workplace is when
Right?
there's a lot of laughter and joy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so I'm glad that you're feeling that in your shop and that they come in and bring a little cackling life to but we can't hear them at all. So that's kind of at least I can't. I don't know if anyone else can, but I can't hear them.
So in our metalsmithing studio, all of our classes out on the store floor are like taken right now. There's a knitting class going on, and then the knitting group rents the big table. They reserve it, I should say. They've been coming so long that they don't pay for it anymore, but we do table rentals, and then we were like, you know what, you guys just have this time. That's your designated time. So
that's awesome.
All of our tables out on the store floor are taken right now. And so I am in our metalsmithing studio, and they're like, all the doors are closed and everything, but we have like a giant ceiling. We like we have tall ceilings is what I'm trying to say, but we've got drop ceilings, and you can just hear everything because you can hear it through the ceiling.
Right, because it's not totally closed, I
Yeah,
guess, right? You have
yeah.
like one
The
of those.
walls don't go
Yeah.
up.
So someone's asking, what size are the Nepali Chevron beads?
That's a really good question. I would say on average, they are between 6 and 10 millimeters. Most of them are probably around 8 millimeters, but they do vary in size. So at the beginning of our stream, what we did was we kind of sorted them out, and we saved a smaller one for the back, just because that's what I wanted to do. And I put some of the bigger ones towards the front. But you don't have to do that. It'll just kind of help to give visual symmetry to this design. So
that makes sense. So much love for those beautiful beads. Pam is asking, she said she missed the beginning of the tutorial, but are the wires crimped together on the other side? They are not.
What we did was we folded the fine soft flex in half, and we strung the chain to the very middle, and then we strung both ends of the fine soft flex through the size 8 seed bead, and then both of them through the tube, and then we split them apart to do this little bump, and then we bring them back together, and we just repeat that for the whole thing, and it creates this really cool kind of like, I was going to say a waggle pattern, but no, that's not right. Like a wiggle.
A wiggle pattern. We didn't talk about a discount code at all, Anne, so I don't know that there is anything for this kit in particular.
We decided to kind of like build the discount into this kit, like the price already, so you wouldn't have to worry about a coupon code. This kit is only $29.95. And that's honestly like a heck of a deal, because these are authentic Nepali Chevron beads that a friend of mine sourced directly from a Nepali street market. So they are authentic, vintage, handmade glass beads. And you get 10 of them in the kit, and they're just beautiful works of art on their own. So we didn't do a coupon code for this time around. We just kind of did a really good deal on the kit anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're sourcing something like that all the way from Nepal is a big deal, like you got to go, your friend got to go there and pick some stuff up for you. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was like, he like picked up a few strands, and he was like, do you like these? I was like, yes.
I love them.
I only have a few. I was like, I need you to get me more. So he
Yes.
the next day and bought like 1 million of them. And
oh, that's amazing.
that way we can share them with you guys.
Yeah. That is super cool. And this way you personally don't have to travel all of you to Nepal. You can get them from Abbi,
Right.
who had a friend that did the work. Although I'd like to go to Nepal someday.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I don't know if that's the play, because I really want to travel. So I don't know. But if you're not looking to go to Nepal, you can, as Kristen said, get the kit from me. I don't know that they would have these beads anymore, because we got them all, I think.
Right. And it might have been a while ago. I don't know.
It was almost a year ago.
Amazing.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I have just a few of my tubes left. But I just kind of want to show you guys that I am keeping, let me come up a little. Sorry, I can't seem to finish a sentence today without interrupting myself. I think that's the caffeine, or maybe just my brain.
It's probably, it's like squirrel.
So I just wanted to show you before I get to the very end that, as I said earlier, we're kind of intentionally placing these beads in here to give us that wave pattern. So if you feel that something on your design is out of place, like if this guy went this way, just go in as you're working and manually, like intentionally place those where they're supposed to go. And don't forget that anytime we add that tube, we need to go in and pull each of these wires tight on their own, like individually. And that's going to ensure that we keep this cool pattern. And that's not to say that, you know, if you jumble your necklace up, that they're not going to kind of go where they want to go. But when you put it on, it's going to, chances are, it's going to go where it's supposed to go. They just kind of fall in line that way. But sometimes necklaces misbehave, and then you just have to put them where they're supposed to go. So no big deal if they work their way out of this cool wave pattern. Okay, so I'm going to do seed bead, chevron, seed bead on one. I'm going to do my 7 little guys here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get on there. Get on there. I didn't give myself enough room to use the soft flex as a needle.
So that's right. Rosanna says not squirrel for us. It's look, beads.
Right?
Really, we should stop saying squirrel and just start going beads.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so I have my tube on. I'm going to pull my tail ends. And I'm going to move my necklace so that I have the right angle to work. All right, so close to the end here. We're going to do seed bead, chevron, seed bead, and then our 7 seed beads. Pardon me. And then we're going to do the magic trick. So get ready. Get ready to have your mind blown.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
I think you might know this magic trick, Kristen.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm always learning things from you.
Well, I'm pretty sure I learned this from either you or Sarah, so it's reciprocal. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So where's our last tube? There it is. Okay. So we're going to put both ends through the tube, just like normal. And then we still have to go in and pull each tail end separately. And this time we're really going to pull tight, and we're not going to let any of that slack happen. We're going to go in and we're going to make sure our necklace is in a curved position like this, so that it's going to lay how it would lay when you're wearing it, and kind of make any little wiggles or adjustments that you need to make that slack transition if you still have any slack in there, and then just keep pulling all that slack out. Okay, so now we are going to put a seed bead on both ends of our wire. We are going to put a crimp on both ends of our wire. And I'll show you in just a second. I just have to fight this for a minute because it's giving me a little bit of heck. Okay, so I have my tube, I have my seed bead, and I have my 2x2 crimp. All right, so both my wires are coming through that 2x2 crimp. What I'm going to do is I am going to put my lobster clasp on one of those wires. Pick the longer one if they're not exactly even anymore. And then we're going to take the wire back down through the crimp. And hopefully you guys can see this okay. It's a little fiddly. Let me get that other wire out of the way so I can make it a little easier for you guys to see. All right, so in theory, the wires should fit through your 2x2 crimp. So you've got 3 of them through there. I'm going to pull this through so it's a little easier for you to see. And I'm going to loosen it so it's a little easier for you guys to see what's going on. I'm going to hold this here for just a second, and hopefully it's clear. Can you guys see that okay?
That looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition any additional slack out. Now, because I loosened it so you guys could see it, I've got a little bit of slack down here. So still, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try and pull all that slack out. So not only am I pulling the slack out of this one, but I'm pulling the slack out of this one as well. And you will be really happy if you pull all the slack out. So take the time to do that. And then also take the time to make sure that you haven't twisted anything out of place. So you can lay it back down and make sure that you have your waves going in the right direction. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our crimper. You can use whatever crimper you have on hand that works with a 2x2 crimp. You can use like the magical crimper that beadplace.net has, or I believe Softflex Company has like a bajillion of them as well. I'm using the magical crimper, and if you guys watch Softflex streams, you've seen this happen before. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to put that crimp tube in the middle of that little balled out section. That's a terrible way to say it. How do you describe that little divot in there, Kristen? We talked about that the other day.
I usually just say the little notch or divot. Balled out section.
Like a melon baller. It like goes in and scoop. I don't know. I say ball.
It does. It is kind of like a melon baller.
So we're just going to make sure it's centered in that little circle. And then we're going to crimp, rotate, crimp, rotate, crimp, rotate, crimp all the way around. Now, way back when I don't even think she would remember this, but way back when Sarah Ayler taught me how to do this at a bead convention. And the way she told me to do it, and she had demonstrated like a million of them that day. So I don't know if she said this to everybody or if I was just like looking confused, but she said, make sure you're squeezing from all the numbers of the clock. She's like, think of it like a clock and make sure you've squeezed all the numbers of the clock. So that's,
oh, wow. I don't know that I've ever heard her say that. That's so funny.
This was like a million years ago. So who knows how many times her like teaching, I don't want to call it a script, but like
the way say something has changed. Yeah.
Like
totally. That's so smart though, because that is what I do usually. I just go around a few more times. But yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. Like go all the way around the clock.
So at this point, we're fully crimped. It's super secure. What you can do, if you have the patience, you can tuck this tail end that's facing your work. You can try to tuck it down into the seed bead and down into the tube just to get rid of it. If you want to cut it off, that's fine too. Sometimes if you're not cutting it close enough, that little tail end can tickle your neck, and I don't like that feeling. So I just try and get rid of it by tucking it in. But sometimes it's really hard to get the tail end tucked all the way in. But my little trick for that is to just grab your pliers and just try and work it in some more. And if it's not behaving, just cut it off and pretend it's not there. Like it's not worth fighting it forever, especially on live stream in front of like millions of people. No.
And it does depend on the design, because there's some times where cutting it off is totally fine. And then there's other times where it does like bother you, depending on what's next to it. You have some pretty small beads next to it, so it's probably best to try and tuck it in. Clem says rock around the clock.
Ooh, I like that. We can sing. We can have ravioli as like the
right. Ravioli's your appetizer, and then you rock around the clock.
Yeah.
Becky says indention. Yes, that would work too for the little notch.
Yeah. Indention. That's a good word. I'm still just instinctively going to say balled out just because I'm careful. But
Shari says, Abby, that was a long time ago. You certainly don't look that old.
Thank you. It's makeup. And I drink lots of water.
Hydrate.
Yeah, no, I like I'm telling you, I think it's just because I wear eye makeup that is really heavy, just because I like that. But if I don't have makeup on, then I don't get those comments that people are like, "Oh, you don't look as old as you." I don't know. I also think that when I babble a lot, people are like, "Oh, she must be young because she's
babbling away." Young at heart.
yeah, exactly." Okay,
And
so
you are actually young, Abby.
am I? I don't even think
I
you're
think so. I think you've got to be younger than me. I'm sure of it.
maybe. I don't know. We'll discuss it later.
Oh, Pamela, yes, you do need to visit her shop. It's an amazing shop. You're a couple of hours away.
Yeah.
Abby was giving us, all of us, we were in the having a little TGBE meeting, and she gave us all a sneak peek, and we were all like, "Oh, it's so big, it's so beautiful."
Well, thanks. Yeah, you should come visit us. Fairview Heights, the city that we're in, is awesome. We have a ton of shopping here. Like, we're considered like a shopping city. So we've got a mall, we've got a ton of stores, and there's a ton of hotels that are really nice too. And they do exist, despite what Alex says. I don't know if any of you were here for this, but I think it was a bead extravaganza a few times ago. And I was like, there's a bunch of hotels. Come and see us. Alex was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm looking at 4 hotels right now, right out of our window. He's like, there's not 4 hotels out there. And he was just like joking, but nobody knew that but me.
Right. You're like, "No, there really are." He's like, "No, there's not." I
So,
don't know what you're seeing, Abby,
right.
but there's no hotel.
I have a whole list of hotels. Anytime anybody comes into town to take a class or anything, if you're wanting to get my list of hotels, I can send you the list of all the hotels that are like within a couple blocks of the store. So what I've done is I have put my last bead on my head pin, and I put a seed bead on either side of it. You probably will have a handful of seed beads left, just because we always provide extras. But if you want to add more seed beads to this to make it a longer dangle, you can. I just like doing a little simple one. So I'm going to do a wrap loop. I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and grab the head pin directly on top of the beads. I'm going to bend it over into a right angle. And guys, there's lots of ways to make a wrapped loop, but this is my preferred way. So I'm going to do a round nose pliers. I'm going to hold the round nose pliers up so that the noses are on top of one another, stacked like a snowman. And I'm going to grab the part that's bent over. I'm going to push the tail end up around the top of the pliers and down so that it starts to look kind of like a clothes hanger, almost like with a long tail or nose or something. And then I'm going to put it back on the bottom nose of my pliers so that I can swing the tail end around underneath. And then we have almost a full loop. So at this point, we're going to slide it into the end of the chain, that last link. And guys, if this is too much chain for you, you can cut it down. I like the versatility of the long chain. And then it also allows you to be able to make it a wrap bracelet as well. But at this point, we're going to grab the top of the loop with our chain nose pliers. We're not going in the loop. We're grabbing on top of the loop, kind of like across the face, if that makes sense. And we're just going to bring that tail end around and spiral all the way down to the bead. And you can do tight coils, you can do loose, kind of whimsical coils, whatever you want to do. But just make sure that you cover your cut so you don't fling that little tail end somewhere where you'll step on it later. And then make sure that you're going to tuck the tail end down so that it doesn't scratch when you wear it. And then after you get that tucked in, you have a beautiful Nepali Chevron lace necklace. Yay! We did it! Cool, cool, cool. Well, thanks so much, everybody. Oh, I don't know if my audio cut out or if Kristen's dead.
Oh, that's me. I put it on mute because my dogs were wrestling. And then I'm sitting here talking away. And then
Am I low?
you're getting a lot of love for how beautiful the design is.
Thank you.
All of the wonderful tips that you're learning, that you were teaching during the process too. Really is a stunning, stunning necklace. Oh, we didn't say where you were located. Dorothy was asking, where are you located?
Fairview Heights, Illinois, which is a like a suburb of St. Louis. So although we are in Illinois, we are technically St. Louis area because we're right across the river from the St.
Fantastic. And Deborah says it's definitely worth the trip. She's lucky to be half an hour away.
Yay!
And Sherry wants you to blow everyone's minds when you tell us how long you've been in the biz.
Forever. No. So this store, we've been open 20 years and I've been making jewelry for, I don't know, since I was 8. But yeah, the store itself has been open 20 years. We made jewelry and sold it at fairs and stuff before then, but who knows how long we had been interested in it before then. I don't know when to count the starting time. I'll say 20
right. 20 years. That is a long time, and so awesome that you are just still bringing that creative inspiration and have a store full of cackling ladies doing some knitting. Because if you like to knit, Abbi also has a lot of yarn and stuff that she sells in store. That's just sort of you've got the beads and the yarn, so pretty cool.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun steps. I feel like there was another question I want to make sure. Oh, someone was asking about the tubes earlier on, that they were wondering if you sold them on their own and other metal types.
Yeah, I think we have at least 4 or 5 colors of them. If you go to beadplace.net and just search the keyword tube bead, TUBE space BEAD, I think it's probably going to pull up at least 4 colors. We may or may not have more than that. But this is the antique brass color. And there's a handful of other colors available as well.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even like, you guys have left so many lovely messages of how gorgeous this design is, how beautiful. It does look like a flower, the way it's kind of shaped. And then someone was also asking, like, how would it look if you were to wear it as a wrap bracelet?
Sure. Yeah, let me try that on my wrist and show you what it looks like. It's pretty cute. So what I like to do when I put it on as a wrap bracelet is I like to kind of pay a little bit more attention to like what direction those tubes are going on. And I like to kind of train it so that it'll sit the way I want it to sit. But depending on your wrist size, you might get lucky and the tubes might fit around kind of perfectly. But you see how I'm kind of almost training it to sit so that they're scalloped. Let me see if I can wrap it a little tighter so you can see what I'm talking about. If you have, it's like if you've got a teeny tiny little wrist, you can wear it so that they fit like normal tubes on a bracelet. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm being clear, but like without the scallops.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because the tubes are quite long. So if you have a thin wrist, it'll probably just lay flat on there. And then, but the scallops are cool. I think it's fun like that.
Oh, I do too. That's my favorite.
Having all of that chain allows you to probably adjust it well for your wrist too.
Yeah. Yeah. And one trick that I want to show you guys while I have it set up here is that if you are, if your wrist size allows for you to kind of clasp it a little tighter, you're like, what do I do with this long chain? I like it on the necklace, but I don't like it on the bracelet. Well, you can hook it in on 2 links. So you can hook it up here and then you can hook it here as well. And it's going to shorten that little dangle and you'll have a cute little loop of chain.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. But yeah, you can just really just shorten it up and hook it twice onto your clasp.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Mary's wondering where the search function is on your website. Maybe it's just her iPad. Is she not able to find it?
It should just be at the very top, but if your iPad doesn't show it at the very top, it might be in the menu. So you might see it on the little dots. Otherwise, if you go to shop, and then it'll be under probably beads or something. I don't know. Well, we can help you find it. If you message the bead place, we'll send you a direct link.
Awesome. That's a good idea. Yeah, if you're struggling, there might be like the little dots or the little lines on the mobile device where you have to go. Abby, you sent me these gorgeous things a long time ago. I don't know if you still sell them.
We do, yeah.
So that's what I was playing with while you were designing. I decided to just string up a little necklace, and I pulled out these beautiful artisan. Actually, let me go big so you guys can see what I'm showing you here. Beautiful artisan pendant.
That's
See
so
it on the bottom? It's
good.
like silver and gold mixed metal. Super cool. And then I just did a little craft wire loop and then strung up those beads. Most of them are from our California Dreaming Kit, like those clear cubes and those little champagne beads. But then these are from my stash. They're kind of like a pyrite looking bead, but they're fire polished. And I had a few other really fun designs. So really cool. These are all artisan made, I think. Is that right?
Yes, they are. So there's an artist she's actually a Finnish jewelry artist now. But for a long time, her company owned a casting company in India. And so her name is Anju Gaurav, and we met her years ago at like a trade show in Las Vegas for like gifts and boutiques and stuff. And we saw these beautiful components on her finished jewelry. And we were like, hey, have you ever thought about just like selling the components off of finished jewelry pieces? Because we would love to buy them. And it took some convincing. She was like, they were like, we're not going to make them just for you. No, we're not going to do that. I was like, well, what if we become your distributors for them? So that's what we did. And for many years, we had booths at like the Tucson shows and Bead and Button and things like that, and sold to other bead stores. We still do, not as much, but yeah, the line is called Art Metal Components by Anju. And there is a section for them on our website. And there's a ton of beautiful designs.
Very cool. I was hoping you still had them available. I was fumbling through because I needed some findings and some head pins. And I was like, oh, I remember Abby sent these to me. They're so pretty. Let me make something with them today.
You did a great job. That is a beautiful design. Would you send me a picture of it? I would love to share that.
Of course. Of course. I would love to. All right, everyone. Here's your last chance to enter our giveaway. So go ahead and use that hashtag Nepal. And we're going to be giving away a Grateful Heart pendant. It's actually actually think it's a Green Girl Studios pendant. I didn't say that earlier, but I believe it is. We originally were going to bring them in to go along with our Grateful Heart kit, but we couldn't get enough in the quantity that we needed. So we decided we would give them away during all the guest presentations this week. So here's your chance to win one. Use that hashtag Nepal. I'm going to pop up our giveaway screen so we can choose our winner. And just note, you have to be here to win. So you need to let me know that you're here in the comments if we call your name, and you'll have a few minutes that we'll give you before we will need to forfeit your prize and choose another winner. So just get your fingers ready to let me know you're here if you see your name or hear your name called. We've got 108 entries, 135 of you watching. If you haven't liked or given us a heart on our video, please do so now and subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching us over on YouTube, and join us over on Facebook. Abby, you have a Facebook group as well, don't you?
Yeah, it's just called the Bead Place Facebook group. And I just want to say, if you're watching this on my channel, make sure to subscribe to the Softlex Company YouTube channel as well. We're co-streaming over there also. So
We
subscribe.
are. So vice versa, you know, if you're watching us over Softlex Company, be sure to check out Abbi Berta's YouTube channel too. She's got so much good stuff over there.
Thanks.
All right, we've got 109 entries. Does anyone remember what we got, how many entries there were when we chose for K? I think we're almost at the same number, and I want to see if we can pass it. Does anyone remember what we got to? For some reason, I feel like we were like 110. And right now we're at 111. Woo woo. I didn't pay attention to what we ended up actually drawing at. But I love the number 111. So I think I'm going to go ahead and draw now. That's one of those numbers that pops up for me all the time.
That's a good number.
It is a good number. Elizabeth, are you still here with us? Are you hanging out over on YouTube? You are our winner. Please let us know in the comments that you're still here. Karen, yes, you did miss Kay. She was on just before us. So you can go check out the replay on the Softlex Company YouTube channel and catch all the sparkly goodness that Kay brought. Yes, Danielle, it's an angel number. 111 and also 1212 pop up for me all the time. Elizabeth is here. Hooray! Congratulations, Elizabeth. Please send us an email at info@softlexcompany.com. Let us know your shipping information and we will get your prize out to you.
Yay!
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to share with everybody, Abbi?
If anybody is within traveling distance of our shop on October 5th, it's free charm day on October 5th. So you can come visit the bead place and get a free charm. No strings attached, no purchase necessary. Just come get a free charm. We're giving away free charms. So
that is so fun.
Is to kind of give back to the community. And I feel like there is no better way to kind of kickstart your creativity than with a free charm at the shop.
I wonder, are you going to have some fun little charm ideas around the shop for people?
We'll have make and takes and giveaways and photo booth, even all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that sounds so much fun. So if you have not been to the shop before, this is a good opportunity to go check her out, especially if you're someone who in the comments was saying, hey, you're not too far from me, and go visit the bead place and get your free charm and just enjoy the beauty of all of those beads and yarn and creativity happening in Abbi's store. And I don't think you will be disappointed. I think you'll be pretty excited that you went. And even better, bring a friend, right? Bring a buddy with you. Beading and creativity is always more fun with friends. I always find that when I bring friends along, they always find things and pick out things that I might have overlooked. And so it's really fun when you can get together. And then you can also split things too and be like, hey, let's get this whole huge package of this stuff.
Yes, it's a great idea.
And then we can create together. And that's the way to do it. Thank you so much for joining us, Abbi. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter of Softlex Company and doing all of these wonderful collaborations with us. We really, really love you and love to spend time with you and love to see all of the weird, wonderful things you're making.
Well, the feeling is mutual. I appreciate the invitation and I love that we get to spend so much time together. Thank you.
I do too. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. And don't miss Sarah. She will be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time. She'll be hanging out on her own, opening up the California Dreaming Kit that you can find at softlexcompany.com. And she'll be making something with it this afternoon. So just an hour from now, we've got another show. So we'll see you there. And then, of course, we've got stuff happening Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So be sure to check out the schedule over at softlexcompany.com and that customer appreciation webpage. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.